Hey everyone, Connie from the Painted Photographer here. Today we're doing Sonnet's Maker's Box reveal. What was in this box? I flipped with some of my thrifted items and you can watch them. I blew myself away with my favorite project. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, and it's even one of my rice papers. And so I had a lot of time to think about it and it just wasn't coming to me. And with Royce's paper and my paper together, oh, it is fabulous, fabulous. And I hope that you follow me to the end so that you can see the outcome of that project. It is my favorite. And everything else that was listed in this box, so good, so good. This is, if you're stuck in your creativity, I was stuck with my own paper. This box helped me out. There's a whole playlist of a lot of other creatives that also work with this box and show you how their inspiration comes from this one little box. I hope that you join us. Find the playlist listed below and follow along until the end.
For our first project, we're going to use an old cutting board, and then we're also going to use the Sweet Pickins milk paint called Completely Coral. This milk paint, I wanted it to be really distressy on this cutting board, and I wanted the image on top of the distressy. When using milk paint, you use equal parts, so the same part powder to the same part water. I use bottled water, and I just use it room temperature. I don't heat it up or use cold water. It is room temperature. And then you mix it in until it's completely mixed, and then you let it sit for about 10 minutes. And it thickens up into this creamy, milky-like consistency. I went right over top of this cutting board. It was raw wood. I sanded it down a bit to get some of the grime off of it. And then I wanted that haphazardly painting look on the front of this. I didn't want it to look like it was solid painted. So I let it dry and then I sanded off what I could. And there's some that's chipping off like it's supposed to, which I really like. This Rose Botanical transfer, it's one of my favorites, and sometimes using up these larger transfers is hard for me because I use the smaller projects. So this cutting board happened to work perfectly for this Rose Botanical image here, and I just put it right over top of the milk paint. The milk paint was completely dry and had dried for a day, and then I transferred the image onto the cutting board.
Sundown and salty cheeks. It's not a cute look getting kicked out of the bar when you're no longer 19. Still acting like a child, feeling like nobody gets it. I always start these fights, don't hate my guts right now, 'cause I'm still figuring it out. You're the silver lining when I can't seem to find it.
I like my transfers to have a little bit of age to them, especially if they're on an aged painted surface. So I went back and I sanded over top of the transfer. Now I'm going to add some clear wax, and then I'm going to also add the dark wax to give it some nice age.
Baby, you're the bright side when there's no goddamn sunshine. You're always around to pick me up. You're the silver lining. You're the silver lining. Small talk on busy streets. Right now
For the next project, I have this cash box register, like you put money in there, and it was okay, but it needed a facelift. I did change my mind, so some of the products that you see there I did not use. So what I did is I took that money drawer out of there, and I went ahead and I painted this with the Fusion Mineral Paint Academy Pear. So it I didn't really realize that it was this beautiful green, but it is a beautiful green. And painting over top of metal, it worked extremely well to use that Fusion mineral paint. And when it dried, I was all ready to put some transfers on there. This is where my vision changed. I have this Lost Garden transfer, and they do have these long strips of flowers. And so I thought that would look perfectly on this toolbox. So I cut that out, and I did put the image right over top of that latch. So I had to trim it down a little bit more so I could fit it in there a little bit better. And you'll see how I actually just went right over top of that locking latch mechanism there.
I always start these fights. You still love me, right? I'm still figuring it out. You're the silver lining when I can't seem to find it. When the whole world is against me, you're not. Baby, you're the bright side when there's no God in the sunshine. Always around to pick me up. You're the silver lining. You're the silver lining. You dry my tears, you take me home. You make me feel like I'm missing. Pick me up, hold me close, stay until the sun's up. You dry my tears, you take me home. You make me feel like I'm missing. Pick me up, hold me close. You're the silver lining when I can't seem to find it. When the whole world is against me now, baby, you're the bright side. There's no God in the sunshine. Always around to pick me up. You're the silver lining. You're the silver lining. You dry my tears, you take me home. You make me feel like I'm missing. Pick me up, hold me close, stay until the sun comes up. You dry my tears, you take me home. You make me feel like I'm listening. You're the silver lining.
After that was all on, I went in with some clear wax and put the clear wax onto the money box.
Never knew that it could feel this way when you lie next to someone. You don't even need to play pretend, 'cause you find the way you are. I wanna know you better, give me every detail. I won't judge you, as you know. I could stay forever when you're lying in my arms. My heart is open.
For this next project, we're going to make over this board that I had that wasn't selling, and we're going to use the bonus little napkin that Sonnet sent with. And we're going to use up the leftover milk paint because I thought it matched the flowers on the bunny's little ear there. So we're going to paint the entire thing using the milk paint, and I don't really want this one to chip, so I'm hoping this one is going to be a solid coverage.
It just took some time. Now I just hope that you stay for a little while. You fix what's broken when you make that smile. So just stay for
I cut out the little bunny on this napkin. I unfolded it so there's 4 options for you to have the bunnies on here. And I cut around the image. I did not want the white behind the bunny, so I cut around him. This might have been a little fussy to do, but you don't have to get real close because I'm going to show you a method in a little bit of how to fix that. So I take a piece of painter's tape, and that will get the second layer of napkin off. I'm going to use that layer of napkin. So I went in with my kindest regards IOD stamp. This is a huge workhorse in my world. I love this stamp. So I stamped it up with the white mixing ink. This is a permanent ink and it's in white, and I stamped right on top of the board. And because I have that second layer of the napkin, that worked as a mask. So I didn't stamp where the bunny was going to be, even though it really wouldn't have mattered because you're going to see me painting this solid white anyway. But in my mind, I just thought, well, and just in case that you have another project that you want to do this on, you can lay down a mask and you won't stamp over top of your image. So I went in with the DIY's White Swan, and I painted the entire back side of this napkin because you do want to make sure that you have a nice white base for this image to pop. Had I left it that coral color, it wouldn't have been as bright of an image after I decoupaged it onto the board. So now I laid him down there where I want him. I'm using the DIY liquid patina to put him down onto that board. He is just the sweetest thing ever. And you could leave him like this. I chose to just go in a little bit further. I'm going to liquid patina the entire thing to seal everything down to make sure that it's all in place. Now I'm going to use some DIY's layered chocolate and water. I'm using an angled brush. I'm just sticking the little corner of my brush into the layered chocolate, and I'm going to make a shadow around this bunny. Later in this video, I will show you in more detail how I did this process because I did it on another project that we did here today. So I'm just going and making a shadow around this entire bunny, and then I'm going to seal him up and he's good to go.
So just stay for a little while.
I didn't think that I would find that someone who's as honest as you are. The way you make me feel at night when I am vulnerable and it's cold outside, but you make it alright. I wanna know you better. Give me every detail. I won't judge you, as you know. I could stay forever when I'm lying in your arms. Oh,
My heart is open. It just took some time. Now I just hope that you stay for a little while. You'll fix what's
For this next project, I forgot to take a picture of the before. This is a 4x7 frame, and we are using the DIY cake batter that's included in the maker's box, and then also Secrets of the Garden rice paper. And this frame, I gave it 3 coats. I wanted it to be full coverage, and then I distressed and added the picture. You can watch this as we move on.
so long when you go, and I can't get enough of you. So can't you stay a little while? I don't want you to leave, so stay with me. heart is open. It just took some time. Now I just hope that you stay for a little while.
You fix what's broken when you make that smile. So just stay for a little while.
My heart is open. It just took some time.
After I added the clear wax, DIY is out of the dark wax for a few weeks. So I wanted to show everyone, in case you have no dark wax, you can put some clear wax in a container, and then you can add your layered chocolate, weathered wood, any of those dark colors, and mix that clear wax up with that colored paint. And this is your dark wax. It will work the same, not as easy, but it will work when you don't have any dark wax. So then I just went over the entire thing with this mixture.
That you stay for a little while. You fix what's broken when you make that smile. Stay for a little while.
Another little trick I have for you is use the glass from your frame to decide what you want in your image. And then I use my paper cutter, making sure that I have it lined up correctly. And then I just cut from both sides so that my image is centered in there. So this one is Secrets of the Garden. It works perfectly in this frame. For my final project, I am going to use the Marshland Guardian. And this is a blue heron that Sonnet had requested for me to paint with some cattails and some irises. And it was a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to walk you through where my thought process was when I painted this image and how I got it to be my favorite project. I have this cutting board and I didn't want any tannins to come through, so I used the Salvation solution in the clear over top of this. I wanted the wood grain, and so using the clear is a perfect solution. I used Royce's paper and the Guardian, the Marshland Guardian paper on this board. I did 2 coats of the white swan, the DIY white swan, so that Royce's paper would show through really, really well. You would think that Royce and I knew what each other were doing, because these papers match so well. And so I just put the paper onto the board and smoothed out all the wrinkles and used liquid patina to put that on.
If you believe in love, how will I feel it? If you believe in me, how will you let me in? If you are ready, how do I reach you? Thinking about us, you're thinking about it too. Higher and higher, I'm gonna raise the flag. Fire will fire.
After it was dry, I used a piece of sandpaper and sanded the edges off. I did not want that white look, so that is why I didn't go to the edge of the board with the white paint. You can see some of it, but most of it is just the wood look underneath there. And then I used the Marshland Guardian, and this blue heron, if you look it up, it's wisdom and grace, and he gives everyone hope and he's the guardian of the marshland. And there is so much, if you Google the blue heron and look at what it all means, it really is inspiring. And I think that this is the perfect image to put anywhere in your house because he means a lot of things. They say he has a lot of patience, a lot of wisdom, a lot of grace. And so painting this rice paper, it took a lot of patience. It took me a long time to paint this paper. And I just had to have patience and wisdom to know that, yes, I can do this. It might have been a challenge, but I could do it. And I was really proud of myself after I got this project all completed and sent to Sonnet. And then when I got it back, then I stumped myself as to what am I going to do with this now? Again, he gave me the patience and the wisdom. It all just started to come together as I was putting it onto this board. He was the perfect piece of wisdom and guardian that I needed. I'm going to now show you a little bit slower in this process and explain a little bit more how I do this. So I take my angled brush, dip it in water, dip the little tip into the paint, and then smooth it off onto, I have a piece of the cellophane that my paper came in, and I just rub it back and forth only on the tip. So my paint is only on one side of that brush. You can see my little pinky is like needing a place to rest, and my paint was in the way on this half of the board. So I'm going to show you on this half of the board why my pinky is so important when I'm painting. So I smooth off that paint, and now you can't really see my pinky, but you will see it in a little bit. My pinky is resting on the board, which is guiding me to make a straight line. My hand is not wobbling because my pinky is holding it. And you'll see in a little bit how you can see that just a little bit more. I think it's when I do the bottom half of this paper.
Send out a flare to find, give me a reason. I'm gonna send a sign, calling you over, calling you to my life. Rough and away, we're around the world together. So off and away, come again. It's now or never. We're going away. You never know what we will find behind the line. Find behind the line.
That paint gave it a shadowed look, like this is 3D. And then I sealed everything in with a coat of Big Top. I like to use Big Top. I like the finish on the Big Top, and I like how it seals everything into place. So I let that dry. After that was completely dried, I took a piece of sandpaper and I sanded that wood edge again because the Big Top sealed the wood fibers in. I want the wood fibers to be porous so that they'll accept the dark wax. So I sanded off all of that Big Top from that raw edge. And then I went in with the clear wax, and I also used the DIY dust, the decrepit dust, because I have a little bit more control when I use the decrepit dust versus using the dark wax. So you can control where it actually is going, and it just kind of melts right into the clear wax. So you have to have clear wax on first. And then that dark and decrepit dust will just melt right into that. And you can control where your brush is going to put that on there. So that is one of my favorite ways to give some age to a project that has a little bit more control. And now for the surprise of this project. I don't know why this came to me. It must have been the blue heron guarding me and making me have some wisdom and patience and grace. I found this old hinge and I'm like, hey, this could look like a little clipboard and with a rusty old hinge on it. So I had my husband attach that with some old screws, and then I darkened decrepit dust around it to give it a little bit of an age and some shadowed look. This is my favorite project. Please let me know in the comments which one of these projects was your favorite.
If you believe in love, give me a feeling. If you believe in me, hold me and let me in. If you are ready, I'm gonna reach you. I've got a feeling you're gonna reach me too. Run away, we're around the world together. So run away, come again. It's now or never. We're going away. You never know what we will find.
What'd you think? Which was your favorite? If you haven't guessed, my favorite was this. I was stuck with this paper. I didn't know how to give it justice for what it is. It is beautiful. It is a beautiful blue heron. And I tried to tell you the story about the blue heron and when I was painting it and how it came to life and what its name is. And this project came out perfectly. I hope that this gave you inspiration for how to use my rice papers. And it looks 3D. You can do that. Just practice. It looks 3D. I put the hinge on here to make it look like it was a clipboard, but you can even do this with a regular clipboard. You don't need a cutting board with a rusty old hinge, even though it's cool. So this will be for sale on my website, along with the other projects that I did for you today. If you would like to purchase any of them, hop on over to my website at thepaintedphotographer.com and I'll ship them right to your front door. I hope that you follow the rest of the makers. They work really hard at their videos and we all are doing this together. We are here to inspire you to use Sonnet's Maker's Box and find your own creativity. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, a subscribe, a like, all those different things. I have my videos, my thrifted videos come out every Monday. This is a Friday, so you won't see one on Monday, but I have them come out every Monday and I hope that you join me. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy painting.